Welcome to this week's edition of Stony Brook Newsbreak. I'm Benjamin Stevens.
And I'm Robert Shabilsky, reporting live with the latest news. The United States Senate passed a foreign aid package late Tuesday night that includes over $95 billion for Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan. With heavy bipartisan support, the vote passed 79 to 18, sending the legislation to President Biden with the expectation that he'll quickly sign. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, who's been calling for more support for months now, says the new aid will give Ukraine a chance for victory against Russia. The package also includes a potential nationwide ban on TikTok. House Speaker Mike Johnson's decision to pursue this legislation has led to a rebuke from some members of the Conservative Party, putting him at risk of a potential ouster attempt in the coming weeks.
Finally, tonight, after more than 6 months of hard work and many twists and turns in the road, America sends a message to the entire world. We will not turn our back on you. Tonight we tell our allies, we stand with you.
Pro-Palestinian protests are spreading on college campuses across the United States. Columbia University students have been camping on campus lawns since last week, demanding that the university sever ties with Israel and divest from Israeli-backed companies. These students are also calling for total Palestinian liberation. Some Jewish students have said that they think some of the chants from the protesters are anti-Semitic and have expressed concerns for their safety.
There are millions of Palestinians within Gaza who are sleeping out in the cold every single night without access to food, without access to shelter.
A person was yelling at me, screaming at me, calling me a Zionist and a murderer.
The university's president has moved all classes to remote in an attempt to de-escalate the situation. Columbia University has agreed to continue to hold talks with the pro-Palestinian protesters while following a long night of protesting and negotiations on campus. A university spokesperson has announced that the negotiations will continue for 48 hours. If the dialogue is unsuccessful, the school will consider alternative options for clearing out the lawn. This announcement comes in response to some protesters agreeing to take down their tents and leave. Since the beginning of the protesting, over 100 have been arrested, and the protesters have said that the university has threatened to call the National Guard.
Today, and for the second time this month, the Supreme Court will hear arguments over Idaho's controversial abortion law. The case involves a 1986 federal law called the Emergency Medical Treatment and Active Labor Act, also known as MTALA, which requires hospitals receiving federal aid to sustain patients who show up due to the emergencies of this fashion. Idaho has argued through court papers that the ban does not go against MTALA, as there is no direct reference to abortion in the bill, and does not require providers to treat an unborn child. This is the second case to reach the Supreme Court since the overturning of Roe v. Wade 2 years ago. The Center for Prevention and Outreach here at Stony Brook University aims to create an environment that empowers student well-being through progressive solutions, fostering self-determination and a culture of care. Here's Brianna Dearlin with more.
The Center for Prevention and Outreach is a place for students at Stony Brook University to ask for help. Located at the Stony Brook Union, the Center of Prevention and Outreach provides countless opportunities for both mental and physical health and wellness.
Our catchphrase with CPO is educate, empower, and connect. And so that's really everything we do is aimed at all of that. And it kind of like the education is the framework for the empowerment and the connection of that.
The center's website shows the harsh reality of college students affected by poor mental and physical health, abusive relationships, and substance use. The center offers free screenings for sexually transmitted diseases and access to healthcare products, while also giving the students the opportunity to learn about preventing these situations by hosting CPR workshops and other life-saving methods. The comfortable environment allows students to gather the courage to open up to the peer educators there to give them guidance.
It felt like a safe space. The student assistants were awesome, the people who were running it, and I wanted to do that for other people, and especially since I want to be a social worker, I felt like it was really important for me to learn the skills to talk to other people about these topics that typically aren't talked about on a daily basis. And I wanted to be part of that community, and I really liked seeing the camaraderie that the other peer eds had. I was like, I want that.
Hosting multiple events each semester, the center wants students to know that they are not alone.
You can be the person, like the one person that cares in their lives and can prevent this from happening.
The Center for Prevention and Outreach has and will continue to be essential for the health and wellness of students on campus.
The New York Knicks continued to win games despite all the adversity faced this season. The NBA playoffs have begun, and the second seed New York Knicks faced off against the seventh seed Philadelphia 76ers Monday night in the world's most famous arena, Madison Square Garden. In a dogfight from start to finish, the Knicks ended up winning 104-101 in a last-second thriller thanks to a game-winning three-point shot from Dante DiVincenzo. Josh Hart led the way with 21 points and 15 rebounds. The Knicks, who are now up 2-1 in the series, look to carry their momentum into Game 3, which is set to take place Thursday night in Philadelphia. The Los
For the tie! Oh, he missed it, and that's the ball game. A flurry at the end of Game 2 for the Knicks, and they win it 104-101.
The Los Angeles Lakers blew a big lead against the Denver Nuggets in a close game Monday night. Denver star guard Jamal Murray ripped the Lakers' hearts out with a 15-foot-long buzzer-beating jump shot over Anthony Davis to secure the Nuggets' 101-99 comeback win. The Nuggets now hold a 2-0 series lead, winning 10 straight games over the Lakers. After the game, Lakers head coach Darvin Ham spoke with officials about what he and his team felt were several incorrect calls and no calls. The team was clearly rattled after Monday's game. Game 3 will take place on Thursday night in Los Angeles, giving the Lakers one more chance to make this a series.
Volunteers in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, are preparing recycled oyster shells to be repurposed as water filters. By stringing the shells onto a cable, these volunteers are creating an oyster rope, with the hope that it will eventually breathe new life as it hangs from sea walls along the new river. One oyster could be able to filter enough water each year to fill a swimming pool. The plan is enough to create larger oyster beds, meaning more of these living filters to clean more water in South Florida area. Replenishing the oyster population is critical for the city, as Fort Lauderdale's economic and recreational activities are dependent on clean water. This has been Benjamin Stevens.
And Robert Shabilsky with the Stony Brook Newsbreak. Thank you for joining us live, and we'll see you next week.